All right, let's talk about Lamar Jackson, who I didn't think had his best day in this one. It's kind of one of those weird situations where the final score ended up being just like a complete blowout. So I think you could easily say, hey, why would you even criticize the Baltimore Ravens at all? They won 25-9. But if you watch the tape, you know that there was a bit of clunkiness in this one, especially offensively for Baltimore. Like this play is a good example. It's man coverage that the Texans are in. Watch how one to play begins. You see that Lamar looks up. There is a receiver who he could potentially look towards, but for Lamar, the first few players he saw that those were not open. He didn't quite get over further down to that route yet. Ideally, he would have been able to make this throw, and I think when he watches tape, he would have loved to say, yeah, I probably could have made that one, but there's pressure coming now, and it just doesn't quite have the time to get over now and make this throw. Maybe he could have done it if that's exactly what he was looking at, but that's the difficulty, right? I mean, you can't look at 5 different guys at once. Instead, Lamar is going to try and scramble out, and it this time does not work out. And again, I think to some degree, Lamar looked around and said, oh, it's man coverage. Let me try and get outside the pocket, which honestly, I don't even think is a terrible strategy for Lamar. If you see it's man coverage, sure, try to use your legs, just it's not always going to work out. And on this play, it didn't work out. And then I thought he had just some miscues. There's just some uncharacteristically bad plays from Lamar. I think Lamar, as a whole, one of the things I feel like he never gets enough credit for is just being a smart player. He makes reads very well. And part of like all that RPO stuff that we talk about, with him, which he doesn't just do now, but when he first got into the league, that's very much having to make decisions very quickly. And he does a very good job of it. Didn't do a great job decision-making wise in this one, I thought. Maybe it was the Texans. He was ready to build up some stats and ended up hurting him more than helping him. I don't know. But this play, so it's zone coverage. That's what the Texans are in. It's a quarters coverage concept. Lamar is going to take the snap right here. He looks down the field and, out of these 5 receivers, you have some openings here. You could throw underneath if you wanted. You don't have to, but it is, it's second down and very long. They have to get to the 10-yard line. So I kind of understand him not making this throw because, again, only getting a little bit of yards if you do throw it. And to be honest, he has a clear window to get, to the outside. So this part is not the critique. I actually agree with what he's about to do here. So he scrambles to the outside, looks down the field, and that's what he's looking at, which is, a choice he can make, I suppose. But this is a very high degree of difficulty play. And while, yes, his receiver is at the first down marker as it stands right now, you obviously can't throw it past the first down marker because, you don't have the angle there. So you'd have to throw it back behind the first down marker, which, again, maybe is a throw you can make. I also do look at it and say, Lamar, the entire sideline's open. Run in that direction. Instead, he ends up throwing, which also results in him taking a hit. And, hey, incredible throw. I mean, really good physical stuff. But we know Lamar can make incredible throws. We know Lamar is great at throwing off balance, all that good stuff. I just didn't love the decision making there from Lamar personally. One more negative, and we are going to get into some positives. I'm not saying this was a disastrous performance by Lamar Jackson or anything. It was just kind of an underwhelming one given the situation, I thought. Although part of it was Houston was actually playing better too. Those past couple plays, Houston was actually playing good defense. You got to give them credit. But anyway, this play, so what's going to happen is it's man coverage, which has been kind of a boogeyman for the Ravens passing game these past few years, is getting guys who can consistently get open one-on-one. Right? That's not something that, they did a lot of work this offseason to hopefully make that a little bit easier. This time it's Zay Flowers, their first round pick from this year, who's running a route that certainly could get open against this coverage. Lamar is going to take the snap right here. And again, it is worth mentioning the situation. It is third down now. They still have to get to the 10-yard line. It's that same, I believe it's just one play later. What's going to happen is you see, this isn't open. On top of this, Lamar is under pressure. This is, quite frankly, Lamar, you got to take the 3 points. There is kind of a route that's open further down the field a little bit, but not really that open, and it is kind of double coverage. So it's good defense, which, again, is unfortunate for Baltimore. You wanted to see guys get open more, and you would see it later. And, again, we'll get to it. But for this play, got to throw the ball away, I think. Lamar instead throws one up and it gets intercepted, and that's a bit of that's a good defensive play. Lamar got a little unlucky with that turning into an interception, but the reality is that wasn't going to get you to first down. That maybe would have gotten you to like a 3rd and 5, which you still probably don't go for it, given that it was 4th and 5 is what I meant to say. It was already 3rd and 6, so gaining a yard, if that was caught, is not worth, obviously, the potential threat of an interception. Just an error by Lamar. But that being said, the offense did have some really good stretches, and I'm not going to sit here and say that this was a disaster. Maybe they just looked a little rusty. I think that's probably a fair thing to bring up. I don't think that's crazy. Lamar didn't play in the preseason, so it might have simply just been him kind of taking a minute to get back into the thick of things. In fact, I would totally buy into that. But like this play is a perfect example of just when things were going well, they were going really well. It's zone coverage. You have a receiver who's going to try and get into a gap in coverage in this, cover 2 zone. So you're getting underneath the steep safety, but getting kind of past the linebackers covering the middle of the field. This is once again Zay Flowers who's going to be running this route. All right, let's see how he does it. Right off the bat, you're going to see that Flowers, this is kind of a dream scenario. Like, I like Zay Flowers. I think he did some nice things in this game. This was certainly maybe his easiest situation where he didn't even really do much. He just ran to his spot in, not great coverage here by Houston. Houston, I thought, did a pretty good job in man. In zone, I still thought they did a solid job, but left open some windows for sure. Lamar is going to be able to fit this ball through that window and actually does a good job of kind of leading Flowers. I think a lot of quarterbacks would have just thrown it to where Flowers was, but he led Flowers, which got them, another 5 to 10 more yards, as opposed to if he just sort of, fired it through to make sure he gets the completion. He knew kind of how quickly the safety could get over. So again, a bit of an easier scenario, which is good. You want these easier scenarios. That's the whole goal. We know what Lamar can do. Like, this play is going to be another example where it's once again zone coverage. It's going to be, now this time it is not Zay Flowers who's the one running this route. It's Rashad Bateman in this zone coverage concept. And it's also over the middle as opposed to towards the sideline. However, you see that Lamar is going to take the snap, and over the middle, there's a window, but again, you're going to have to get it over some of these Houston players who are covering over the middle of the field. However, that's exactly what Lamar does. Really nice throw on that one, and they pick up a first down. So, again, we saw this happen for Lamar. I think that the passer rating is not going to look as good, largely due to the fact that they had 3 rushing touchdowns, no passing touchdowns. But at the end of the day, if you're getting a touchdown, you're getting a touchdown. It does go to show a little bit kind of the high expectations for Baltimore, or I think just as realistically, the low expectations for Houston. We're saying, oh, you only won by 16. What went wrong in this one? Obviously, winning by 16, you still feel pretty good about it. However, I did think that, I tend to look at this just simply as how did you play? And, 25 points against Houston is nothing crazy, and certainly I think that the way that Lamar played, he made some mistakes in this one. Am I concerned? Obviously not. Lamar's a great player. Lamar's an outstanding player, and I think that with the addition of these receivers could even reach higher heights. I was hoping to see some flashes of that this game. Maybe some flashes, but not a ton of consistency. I didn't see anything from Lamar we haven't seen him do before, which was maybe a little disappointing. I guess I should say I didn't see anything from the Ravens offense in a positive way that I haven't seen before, but it's just one game and they're still learning how to play with each other. So kind of a, needs more information situation, but that's how I thought he played. There was some miscues, but nothing that I would be concerned about is my opinion on it. But yeah, that's how I view this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What were your thoughts on Lamar Jackson and his performance in this one? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.